Hello, I'm Joel Blackford with Beth Hesed Sabbath Fellowship. We are not meeting yet. I'm almost ready to get things started again. I'm kind of negotiating with the landlord to see what kind of fear mongering they want for rules before we get started again. Please call 612-315-6778 before you attend. We do the philosophy of eschatology, what you need to know, your reality, our existence. We try not to be disparate in our thinking. And we are Beth Hesed Sabbath Fellowship coming to you with another get together on the philosophy of eschatology. Do you believe in evil? You have to, because evil's coming. And what is this narcissistic rage? Is it defensive? Is it Satan? Is it the Antichrist? How many different players are coming at you? And what types of tactics are they going to employ? And why does it matter? Well, it's coming at us all the time. And this could be 10 more years of this kind of stuff. We might go 20 years. I don't know when Yeshua is returning. I don't know. But I do know that there's just so much of this disgusting stuff going on. So this guy wants to develop his own little shoes with Luke 10:18 on them, which means that he saw Satan fall like lightning. I don't think he understands. That's a bad thing, okay? And he's got all sorts of issues. So the tennis shoes with blood in them and satanic, and they sold out, and they had 666 shoes. So we're going to see more of this, just more of this junk, this crud. And we're going to see Fauci. I think he's Faustian. I think it's a satanic bargain with this COVID stuff because it doesn't ever end. Israel's a part of it. I feel sorry for those poor people because it's a small country and you have no place to run. At least in the United States, there are states where they will protect you. Texas, Florida protects you. You have some rights there. Fauci is a dangerous person, and that is a Faustian bargain because the goalposts keep on moving. You never really cross the finish line with this guy. So, and then we have the protests. I live in Minneapolis, basically. I'm just down the road. And so we've got the protests, but they aren't protests. They aren't riots, according to the news media, and the masks. And keep in mind, I'll explain what this means. Shadim wear masks, okay? And they call them peaceful, but they're not. Is Satan involved? Of course he is. And I live in Minneapolis. I do, basically, right down the road. And our church is like literally blocks from Minneapolis. So, the mask, let's talk about it. Shadim are demons, and they wear masks. They don't want you to see their true self or whatever their true image is, okay? We are created in the image of God. They are not. They are created beings, and so we're created beings in our own little way too, but they're different than us because they fell. They were closer to God. The watchers were angelic. The demons were, I believe that they're the spirits of the Nephilim after they died from Genesis 6. So anyway, the point is they wear these masks to hide their true natures, concealing their true natures. You have the persona, you have consciousness, you have this shadow aspect back there. There's the outside, the inside. There's all this stuff going on with demons. And the mask we wear to hide our true selves, only to come home exhausted from the lie. Yeah, well, that's typical. So, the philosophy of the end of days. So let's discuss this in light of the Bible. Let's look at the masks and all the demonic activities, the prophecies regarding that. Let's try not to twist the Bible, and let's look at the real news. There isn't much of it out there. Okay, so why do I handle narcissism so much? What's so important? Well, I think I've come up with two new aspects that I want to discuss today. One is that narcissists are defensive in the mode. They can keep better control being defensive. So that means they already know they've done something horrific to you and others, and they need to be defensive, and that means that they need to mount a defense that's actually offensive, but it is defensive in nature against you, and to keep you off balance, to gaslight you, to keep you crazy, to keep you from figuring them out, and to keep them able to suck the life out of you. Okay, so I was married to a woman like this for 25 years, and the reason why is because I'm a little ball of sunshine. I'm actually a very happy person. Many people think because of doing this eschatology stuff that I'm actually a morose, morbid type of a guy, a negative thinker. No, no, I'm actually very, very positive. You wonder why God wanted me to do this in the first place. I think it's because I have such a positive personality that I can handle all the negatives of the end of days. Because it's dark, it's ugly. Just read Amos 5:18 through 22, and you'll see these are dark days coming. It's going to be horrible. So the masks and all that, the me, 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 I married that. Okay, I dealt with that. And keep in mind, before this person left me, and before they'll leave you, they want to destroy you. And they can't really move on until they can finally destroy you. Okay, so when they fail at their primary defense mechanism, the narcissist begins their spiral down the rabbit hole filled with their delusions, deceptions, and lies. They are always lying. They are no, and demons lie, and they're no longer able to hide their true self from others. When they collapse, no supply, and I was the supply, can fill the void. None. They continue running, chasing. At this point, they're merely chasing the dragon. They collapse. Their collapse continues. Beneath the narcissist mask exists a selfish, coward, bully, fraud. Yeah, that's what I dealt with for all those years. They manipulate. They look for attention. Diva. Diva is the one word that I would use. They're pathological liars. They will provoke you to get a reaction out of you so that they can blame it all on you. Okay, that princess mindset. So they're pathological liars again, and then all sorts of things if you want to pause this and list off all the fun stuff that they are. But there's so many red flags, and we ignore them because we're looking for the positives. We're looking for the good stuff. Well, so in this case, take my wife, please. She was a covert narcissist. But it did train me for what's coming, which is demonic, which is, Satan's coming down with rage. The Antichrist is going to be around. The false prophet will be working. There are other people too. There's Gog. There's other players. Okay. Are schizophrenics really possessed by demons? Maybe so. The most important point that I want you to get, though, is that there is evil, and evil is coming, and evil is going to be like a deluge, okay, a flood of evil. And it's going to get much, much worse as we move forward. Is every evil person demonically possessed? I don't know. Was my wife demonically possessed? I don't know. I would say oppressed. Okay? And we had demonic attacks in our household when she was there having our affairs. So there you go. Okay, so the biggest name in all of this thought right now is Jordan Peterson, and this has helped me to process a lot of this. So he's the most influential public intellectual in the Western world right now, Jordan Peterson. So he's got his 12 laws. Stand up straight with your shoulders back, treat yourself like someone you are responsible for helping, make friends with people who want the best for you, compare yourself to who you were. Yeah, compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to someone else, not to who someone else is today. All right, whatever. So tell the truth, pursue good things. Don't let your children do anything that makes you dislike them. Lots of interesting things from Jordan. Okay, and so he deals with this in another way, in terms of reinforcing that evil exists. But here's the deal: if we're believers, if we're God-fearers, and the evil is coming, it's going to be a crisis, and it's going to be a huge crisis, epic. Okay, that means that we should be prepared for this. That's why I'm creating this video, to help you prepare mentally for the crisis that is coming. And what if it is? What if Yeshua is actually 20 years away? I'd be a really old dude by that time. Okay, and but with these crises coming, how are you going to prepare? Well, mentally, he's going to teach you a few things. And so we're going to go through some of those things today. So you've got the players against Satan, Antichrist, the false prophets, Gog, and ethnos, ethnos, which is basically tribal people versus tribal people, okay? And that's what you're seeing right now. So you've got more than just the big players. You've got the little players. You've got the Minneapolis protests. And this could be that bad week where we already had another shooting in Minneapolis. We already had the cop that put his knee on the back of George Floyd. Well, Minneapolis could burn, okay? And it might hit my place. Okay, that's fine. I'm renting. I'm able to run right now. Okay, they project. They project their narcissistic personality disorder on us. They use these stupid phrases that may not catch on. You can see in the cartoon down below there, you know, he wants to use this phrase. Well, it may not work out so well because we have to buy into your phrases too. But that's all narcissism, you know. When you want to redefine whatever it is, you know, like I want to be, actually what I'd like to be is a boat. You know, I mean, I identify as a boat out on the water. Wow, you know, that's kind of stupid, but I love boating, okay? And so the Freudian nightmare of Oedipal family, where your utter uselessness is forgiven on the grounds of compassion, and you end up living in your mother's basement until you produce fantasies as a consequence of your squelched development of perhaps going out and shooting up a high school, okay? So mercy in its excess produces pathology. We as a generation 20, 30, 50 years ago started to produce more mercy in excess, and we produced this pathology, and it's really sick and twisted. So let's continue on defining good, which you can kind of read if you want to. Cake is good, he says. Well, not for everybody. You know, if you're intolerant for wheat, say, or gluten, cake's not such a good thing, but you would think that cake's good. So anyway, good is good would be good now and good later for it to be good, okay? Evil is something that is known and intended for its negative effect that is not wanted. So basically take it as a deliberate manifestation of malevolence, the enactment of something that you know is wrong. Lying is wrong. Being ignorant is not evil, but telling the truth purposely or willingly, being quiet while knowing the truth is wrong. Okay, so in Judaism there's a time for lying when life is at stake, but also there's a time when you should be telling the truth, like when the Nazis are at your door, and no, let's say that the Nazis are working hard to destroy your life. Jump in earlier on, don't wait. Do it earlier and stop the Nazis. Now, I'm saying this is a deluge in the end. You're not going to be able to stop all the things coming at you, okay? But you can be involved in the fight, and I'm part of the fight with these videos. Do you believe in evil? Even the demons do, so keep that in mind. And evil is important, so at least Jordan's talking about it. So this is a couple of videos from him, developing your inner psychopath. Very interesting way of stating it. But this is our future, people, okay? So then even the worst snake of all, it's malevolence. PTSD is a real-life recreation of the fall of Adam and Eve. Vulnerability and suffering is one thing, but to encounter someone that wishes that upon you and will work to bring it about, that's a whole different category of horrible. That was my wife. She had to destroy me because she had a new boyfriend. This bad road, suffering, bitterness, resentful, vengeful road, fantasizing about shooting up a school. You know, that's the problem as you move down when you have this incredible amount of mercy placed upon you for everything that you do, and you live in your parents' bedroom, I mean, in their house, and you become resentful, and horrible things happen. So first in trust, the center of malevolence is betrayal. So that's from Dante, but keep in mind that betrayal is when they know you and they betray you, and that is the deepest seat of malevolence, okay? Our goal is to no longer be naive, hyper agreeable, and I tend to be agreeable, okay? I like everybody to win, and no longer victimized, to have full knowledge of evil. That is from him, and I believe that's from the Bible because God lays out what evil is in the Bible. You see it all throughout the Bible. So keep that in mind, and this is the link for his YouTube right there. And here's more about it. So according to Jordan Peterson, evil is a knife in the heart through the back. PTSD patients develop a very articulated philosophy of evil. Okay, and so you don't want the brain fog. You don't want to be naive. You don't want to be a sucker. You were a sucker. You don't have to be a sucker again. Learn to become dangerous. Okay, now dangerous not in terms of you're going to go out and hurt people, but dangerous to Satan. So learn it. It's in the Bible, people. Can you withstand tragedy and malevolence? The predators are out there. They're seeking timid children that won't fight back. Remember, the men that rape are weak men. They're not strong men, okay? You need your sword, but it should be sheathed. And we're going to go through that in the Bible, too. You'll see that. If you know enough about evil, then that will straighten them out, okay? Evil doesn't like to be confronted, and if you know the plans and the tactics of evil, That should straighten them out a little bit, okay? The pathway to enlightenment was barred by the necessity of a passage through hell. Okay, so keep that in mind. You're not going to get to heaven until you go through hell, okay? And that's life, okay? Not following your bliss. Not how it works. Understand how dark and terrible things can get. You have to figure it out. You have to process this, okay? That things are getting worse. And so Jordan's right. This is how we deal with this. You have to chew on evil to get to the good. And keep in mind, if someone's an axe murderer, but they don't have an axe, that doesn't mean they're moral. Okay, so this is our future coming. So once again, deep knowledge of evil will straighten you out. So I think he's getting to the heart of it. He's not saying this is from the Bible because he doesn't, but there is a godfulness in this. Okay, so now these are the verses. So we'll see if you can stick with me. It's not much. Okay, there isn't much about Satan in the Bible or about the Antichrist and stuff like that. But let's get through a few of them here. This is supposedly about the king of Tyre. This is about Satan. Okay, so your pride has brought you down to Sheol, which is the burial place, with music of your lyres, under your mattress of maggots and your blanket of worms. How did you come to fall from the heavens? Okay, oh, morning star, Hillel. Okay, so his name is not Lucifer. It's his title is Hillel. He's the son of the dawn. You know, he was an important angel. How did you come to be cut to the ground, conqueror of nations? You thought to yourself, I will scale the heavens. I will rise my throne above God's stars. I will sit on the mount of the assembly far away in the north where it's dark. I will rise past the tops of the clouds. I will make myself like unto the Most High. I will push the Most High out, and I will become the God, the head, the father, so to speak. Instead, you were brought down to Sheol, to the uttermost depths of the pit. Those who see you will stare at you. We will mock Satan, reflecting on what has become of you. Is this the man who shook the earth, who made kingdoms tremble, who made the world a desert, who destroyed its cities, and who could not set the prisoners free? That's Isaiah 14:11 through 16. What's going to happen as he is kicked out of heaven is going to cause narcissistic rage. It's going to be defensive in character, so get ready for it. Here's some more, Ezekiel 28. He was the seal of perfection. He was full of wisdom, perfect in beauty. You were in Eden, the garden of God, covered with all kinds of precious stones. Only 9 of them, not 12 like the high priest, only 9. Your pendants and jewels were made of gold, prepared the day that you were created. You were Cherub. You were the Cherub angel, in the face of God, protecting a large region. I placed you on God's holy mountain. You walked back and forth among the stones of fire. You were perfect in your ways from the day you were created until unrighteousness was found in. God saw it in him, and then he had to kick him out. Your commerce grew. You became filled with violence in the way you sinned. Therefore I have thrown you out, defiled, from the mountain of God. I have destroyed you, protecting Cherub, the face Cherub, of right in God's face, from among the stones of fire, which is the word for fire, and the word for the stones basically is sapphire. So they're burning. They're burning stones. That's what's up in heaven. Your heart grew proud because of your beauty. You corrupted your wisdom for the sake of your splendor, but I've thrown you to the ground. That will cause narcissistic rage. Before kings I have made you a spectacle, causing narcissistic rage. By your many crimes and dishonest trading, you have profaned your sanctuaries. Therefore, I have brought fire from within you, and it has devoured you. I have reduced you to ashes to the ground in the sight of all. That causes narcissistic rage. Who can see you? All who know you among the peoples will be aghast of you. You are an object of terror, and you will cease to exist. Ezekiel 28:11 through 19. Continuing on a little bit more here, just a couple more. Next, there was a battle in heaven. Michael and his angels, the good guys, fought against the dragon, the bad one, that's Satan, and Satan and his angels fought back. But it was not strong enough to win, so there was no longer a place for them in heaven. The great dragon, Satan, was cast out, the ancient serpent, known as the devil, and Satan, the adversary, the deceiver of the whole world. He was hurled down to earth, and his angels were hurled down with him. Therefore rejoice, heaven, and you who live there. But woe to you, land and sea, for the adversary has come down to you, and he is very angry. He has narcissistic rage, and he's going to be defensive in his tactics against you. Okay? He knows his time is short, so that increases the rage. The dragon was infuriated over the woman and went off to fight the rest of her children. The dragon stood on the seashore. That's chaos. When you see the sea and he's on the edge of it, he's standing on the edge of chaos, watching it, okay, trying to create more chaos. So keep in mind, all of these actions so far are creating narcissistic rage in this perfect creature that God created. Okay, and then we're going to finish it out here. This is Revelation 13 to go on to some other topics. I saw the beast come up out of the sea, out of the chaos, with 10 horns and 7 heads, and on its horns were 10 royal crowns, and on its heads blasphemous names. The beast, this is the Antichrist, which I saw was like a leopard, but had feet like those of a bear and mouth like that of a lion. To the dragon, Satan gave its power and throne and great authority, and one of the heads of the beast appeared to have received a fatal wound. That causes narcissistic rage. But his fatal wound was healed. Interesting. But then he goes out and he attacks after that. People will worship the dragon and give authority to the beast, and they will worship the beast, saying, "Who is like the beast? Who can fight against it?" It was given a mouth speaking against arrogant blasphemies. So that's Revelation 13. So keep in mind, there aren't many verses about this, but all of these types of things, when Satan is cast out or the Antichrist is outed, and it's a spectacle, it will cause narcissistic rage, and that rage will be defensive in nature. That's how they maintain better control. Okay, so next, narcissism, once again, is a defensive mechanism. Okay, they use scapegoating. It's psychological discrediting. It's really a way of attacking in a defensive mode. Okay, the ego uses psychological defenses of projection, denial, criticism, anger, ward off painful feelings. They're hurt. Okay, Satan's cast out, Antichrist is outed. They're hurt. And so they have to guard against that. So that means that they have to use projection, denial, criticism, anger. And so then they just go nuts. Okay, so we are going to be up against that. But it's not just Satan and the Antichrist and the false prophet and Gog. It's also these ethnos, these people groups that are going to be really angry, and we're going to be caught in the crossfire. So just keep that in mind. Narcissistic rage occurs when negative feedback that the narcissist receives and a great discomfort and other defense mechanisms are activated. Defense mechanisms. The rage associated with narcissistic injury ranges from mild irritation to outright physical attacks. I'm saying the physical attacks are coming, okay? They will gaslight, deflect, project, verbally assault, or disengage. Depending upon the severity of the injury, others may become physically aggressive, becoming incredibly dangerous. So here's the 8 triggers. Narcissist doesn't get his way, or even when it's unreasonable, they need to always get their way. If they're criticized, they'll go nuts. If they aren't the center of attention, they go nuts. If they get caught breaking the rules. Okay, my former wife cheated at Battleship. I caught her cheating. I wondered why we didn't play many games together with the kids. It's because she cheated. I mean, she lied at Battleship. She moved her pieces around. Who does that? That's so pathetic, but that's how a narcissist thinks, okay? They can't be accountable. If they suffer a blow to their idealized, egotistical self-image, it blows up. It's horrible, okay? If they're reminded of their charade, manipulation, exploitation, inadequacy, shame, self-loathing, anything like that, they just go nuts. If they feel they're not in control, they must control by using defensive tactics. So just be aware of this as you start heading into these situations, and they're just going to pop up. You're going to notice them. Okay, so it's psychological abuse. That's gaslighting, okay, where they deny that the light was turned down, but they're turning down the lights to make you look crazy. So as things move forward, remember, you're going to be thinking that you're sane, and they're going to try to make you look crazy, and this is going to be groups of people making you look like you're crazy. Okay, so here's COVID-19. They're gaslighting us with COVID-19. They are. You know, Fauci is gaslighting us. Okay, here's in my town. This is Minneapolis. So this is first the Minneapolis riots of 2020, and now we've got the 2120 riots. Okay, so the riot in front of the burning building, mostly a protest, not generally speaking unruly. They burned Minneapolis down. That's gaslighting. Okay, mostly peaceful is gaslighting. Then this just happened last week. The Brooklyn Center Police Chief Gannon was in front and center of the riot, and he said it was a riot. And the reporter said, no, there was no riot. And Gannon says, of course there was. The officers were being pelted by frozen cans of pop and frozen and concrete blocks and other things like that. It was a riot. Oh, no, it wasn't a riot. And then, don't do that, another person was heard saying, there wasn't a riot. So they're gaslighting you. They're gaslighting you. And it's going to come from many different people. Big tech is going to gaslight you. Big satellites are going to gaslight you. Big pharma, there is, you know, if you just take the jab, everything will be fine. Big media, they lie to you all day long. Even Fox, I don't watch any of it. Big woke, which is BLM protests. Big China, China's lying. Trust me. Big church, your church is lying to you because they're telling you everything's fine. Just give us money. Big slavery. Well, that is Jeffrey Epstein type people. They want to bring people across from Mexico into America and create slaves. I mean, they're bringing the kids across to be slaves. Okay, just keep that in mind. And then big cosmos. Well, it's going to be interesting. All of these things, they're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to blame global warming when the sun is causing things and other cosmological things are going to occur. And that's the first series from the sixth seal through the third trumpet. You're going to notice big cosmos, and they're going to tell you, oh, that's global warming. No, it's coming from outside our world, okay? My spitting in the ocean isn't causing the asteroid to hit me in the head, okay? So all of these other issues, this is just going to be one big wheel coming at us from all of these different people, and it's just going to be a deluge, okay? Threatening behavior, disrespect, insecurity, lack of support, lying, cheating. Oh, they lie. Oh, irresponsible parenting, yeah, inability to be responsible. Oh, all this stuff, okay? So there is another Holocaust arriving soon. God-fearers will be the targets. You will be destroyed if you confront the narcissist. So all of these big tech, big satellites, big everything, if you confront them, they will destroy you, and they are right now, okay? God will throw out the narcissists. Don't worry, God will do it. But you have to be a part of this too. You have to pray, okay? So once again, Shadim, wear masks, and so the news media and other people like that, fake news, whatever else, they're saying that you're stupid. I think you're smart, okay? So I think you're smart, and deal with that. God knows you're smart, so learn from it. I believe the seals are opening, okay? We're in seal 3 right now. We're noticing food prices in certain countries. Oh, it's horrific for food prices right now, okay? And the seals look like the warnings that Jesus came in Matthew 24, which are the birth pangs. They look about the same. Here's the big four from, and we'll go through this a little bit more. I've got another video coming up of the big four of seal number 4, okay? But what I want to say is that it looks as though, according to Dr. Lee Merritt, the jab supposedly, it's really not what you think it is. In the animal studies right now, the jabs have been administered to cats where the virus arrived once again in the body. It arrived like a Trojan horse, so expect the Trojan horse to occur, okay? Undetected by the cat's own immune system, this virus multiplied unchallenged, and all animals involved in the experiment died from various causes, okay? It's a Trojan horse situation, okay? They're building up a defense against this, but another is coming from another angle, another variation of it. So what happened is all animals died, but they didn't die of the vaccine or the jab. What they died from was used to be called immune enhancement, and now they call it antibody dependent enhancement. Case of Dr. Merritt. So, and then there's also the weird genetic stuff going on across the world where they're taking humans and animals and cloning them together. So it's just, we knew that was coming. It's just sick and twisted. So that will cause potentially seal number 4. Seal 5 is martyrdom. That is a central focus of Revelation. The birth pangs were in it. Right now we're getting ready for seal number 4. And I gave you a reason just now of what seal 4 could be. Tribulation, first 3.5 years. Then the Great Tribulation, the last 3.5 years. And as we move towards seal 5, we're going to hear this up in heaven, sovereign ruler, oh, holy and true, how long will it be before you judge the people living on the earth and avenge our blood? That's coming. So that's the 5th seal. And keep in mind, when Jews in the 1st century would bury their dead, they would put the horns of the altar around it because they knew that that's where the souls came from and that's where the souls go back to. So once again, here's Revelation 6, 9 through 11. The blood will be avenged at some point in time. And I saw underneath the altar, that's the goof, that's where the souls come from up in heaven. Well, that's like where we're buried on earth if we understand what's going on there. So keep in mind, this is coming. This is the focal point of Revelation, is the death of the saints. Get ready for it, people. Okay, and once again, here's more of these particular grave markings, which have the horns on them, and then one more time, this is the central focus of Revelation: is the death of the saints. And just like the first century, the death of the saints, the death of the saints. Get used to it. So let's discuss a couple more verses just so you have it straight here, okay? So, and he opened his mouth and taught them, saying, Blessed, Ashrei, are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Ashrei are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. Ashrei are the meek, exercising God's strength under his control, demonstrating power without undue harshness, powerful godly restraint, showing character and wisdom, having a sword, but keeping it sheathed. That's Jordan Peterson, okay? So as we move through and want to be blessed by God, Ashrei, then it means that we have to have the sword sheathed. That means we're operating out of power, people, because they're going to come at you in a different way, in a defensive mode. So never think that this is weakness, okay? Meek, okay? No, 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 no. In the Greek, it really is exercising God's strength under his control. Okay, so you have a sword, but it's sheathed. Okay, that's Matthew 5. But someone will say, you have faith and I have actions. Show me your faith of yours without the actions. I will show you my faith by my actions. You believe that God is one? Good for you. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Good for you. The demons believe it too, and they shudder with fear. But foolish fellow, do you want to be shown that such faith apart from actions is barren? So that's James 2:18 through 20. So keep in mind, the demons shudder. So why do they shudder? Faith and actions. That's where we're going forward. Things are happening fast. You're going to get these ethnic civil wars brewing. You're going to have peace treaties at some point in time. Deaths are going to hit. The Pope's part of this too. Gog's going to be involved in this. The Antichrist is going to pop up again. He's kind of quiet for the moment here. The Babylonian faith is going to be big. The Antichrist will remain quiet. Biding its time. Persecution will increase. That's the focal point of Revelation. You're going to see the bonfires of conversions, which is good. More martyrdom, of course. And you're going to see princes of these regional territories pop up. So you need to wear your white garments. And your white garments are given to you because of your good deeds. Yep, it's there in the Bible. And it's there. If I take the Greek back to the Hebrew, it's definitely there. Sounds just like Moses and in Deuteronomy. So that's it. That's the end of this particular get-together. Now you should be able to understand that all of these systems are coming against you, the crazy people too, and they're all going to gaslight you, and you need to understand it's defensive. They're not using that as an offensive weapon. It's a defensive weapon. So study up on your covert narcissism, on your narcissism in general, because that's what's coming. And if you understand how to sheath your sword, but have your sword, you should be able to fight back. Be blessed. Bye-bye.